and stuff like that, but I haven't really bought anything. Are we live? I think we're live.
I believe we are.
Just mute this right here. Right. Hi guys, how's it going? It's been a while. I haven't done a live stream in a little bit. We got BassGeek with us today. Want to introduce yourself and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, you know what? You think as many of these as I've done, I'd have something prepped for this. I'm BassGeek for you guys that don't know me. I'm a network engineer. I'm a computer geek by trade, and that's kind of where my name comes from, BassGeek, because I kind of approach the me and Lady Bass here was just talking about it. I bring the same approach from troubleshooting large network issues to bass fishing, and I don't know, that's a horrible intro, but anyway, I'm going with that.
He fishes down in Tennessee, is it?
Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee. Yep.
Tennessee. Smallmouth are your preferred species, I think.
Well, actually, I'm a largemouth guy. I love to catch smallmouth, but you'll probably see me catching more largemouth. I don't prefer, as long as they're big and they'll bite a swim bait, I'll take them.
All right, there you go. Yeah, and he fishes the swim bait a lot. Yeah. And clear water, correct?
Yeah, a lot of clear water. That's what I'm best at.
If you guys have any questions about ultra clear water, swim bait fishing, he's your guy for sure. Hey guys, hello. I'm just going through all the comments right now. My next video will be up on Saturday. For the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be trying to post 2 videos a week instead of just 1. My exams just finished, end of last week, beginning of this week, so now I'm a little less busy, so I'll have more time to make videos and interact with you guys. But this Saturday is my next video. Next week, I have a giveaway coming out, so if you guys want to win some baits, stay tuned for that. And I have not been ice fishing yet because of exams, but I'll be out either this weekend or next weekend, and then every weekend following that until the ice is gone. So it's been a while, but getting back on the grind. Hi, Real Northern Fishing. If you guys have any questions, we can keep the questions coming. This is going to be just a general Q&A, talking about fishing, answering guys' questions.
What's up, LT? Outdoors. I see Bobby. What's going on, sir?
Cameron, I do have open water to fish, but bass are off season right now, so I'm not able to actually fish the open water even if I wanted to. And,
you know that you're the first person I'd ever heard have an off season for bass. I've never heard that until I started watching your videos.
It's awful. I'm not sure if it's all of Canada. I'm not sure about the provinces out west, but in Ontario, until you drive 8-9 hours north of Toronto, we have bass seasons. So they're off season during the winter and most of spring. And that's just to preserve the quantity of fish.
Yeah.
Just to protect them from the spawn. I don't know. I feel like if we had a license, I was actually talking about this with Raw Fishing on Instagram. But we feel like if we had a license, you pay more for it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Where you could catch and release throughout the spring, starting May or something.
Yeah.
They would make money off of it, a lot of money off of it, because we do have a fair amount of bass anglers up here, and people wouldn't get fined for doing things they shouldn't be doing. And if you're sport fishing, I don't see the huge problem with it. Of course, their numbers will probably be affected a bit, but their numbers are so good right now. I feel like it's worth a try at least.
So what do you do if you're out? My question is, if you're out and you're fishing for pike or trout and you catch bass, I mean, if we call them game wardens. I don't know
Yeah.
what you guys. I mean, if they see
And then
you with a bass, I mean, are they just going to run over and give you a ticket for poaching?
Yeah, so we have the Ministry of Natural Resources. Those are the guys that would come and ticket us and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I do know that there are people that do fish off season, like full on bass boats, flipping docks and all that stuff, like jigs.
Wow.
Like, there's no way they're fishing for like, you know, pike or walleye or anything like that. If I'm fishing for a different species and I end up catching a bass, I have done this in the off season. Obviously, I've had caught a bass in the off season. What I have done is I just, you know, take the lure off and throw it right. I have taken a picture once and I posted it and I got a lot of crap for it. So I'm not doing it anymore.
Save those until the season comes in. It's like, look, man, I burned them up.
But I've just been told just to release it right away. They're not supposed to be out of the water. We don't want any you know, panfish and bluegill coming in, sweeping out all the eggs. So I just release them back in. I know where my cottage is on the lake. I'm in a little bay, and that's like a really big spawning hotspot. So like even if I just fish off my dock for panfish or anything like that, there's no way I can get away from the bass. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because that's you know, I mean, you know as well as I do. If you're out fishing, you know, if I'm bass fishing, you know, I'm going to catch a muskie or, you know, something. It seems it always happens.
It's like me fishing for bass. I always get a rock bass every single day.
Yeah.
And I absolutely take them. Have you used HUDs?
Have I used HUDs?
Yeah.
I have not used HUDs. I actually plan on picking a couple up. The big thing about HUDs for me, I'm not real sure about like what color to use with HUDs. You know, being super clear water, I'm really, I don't know. I mean, I know they fish them on Clear Lake, you know, tactical bass, and they fish them out there, but some of the lakes that I fish, it's all like really big gizzard shad. So I
you can try one of those.
Yeah, I kind of lean more toward the like the Bastrix and the, you know, those sort of hollow bodied swim baits a little bit more.
What's your preferred size and hook?
My preferred size, if I can spit that out, is probably a 6-inch. Now Bastrix makes a 6-inch, but it's actually 5.5 inches long, and Shadowlicious by Strike King, which are the two that I throw the most. Well, and the Zoom, which is, I don't know what they call theirs. It's 5 or 6 inches. But anyway, one of them measures with the tail out, and it's, so here's your head.
Yeah.
Like this. Here we go. So this to this would be 5.5 to Strike King. Well, you take that tail and bend it out, and that's 6 inches to Bastrix, even though they're the exact same size.
Okay.
So, but so that size generally.
So
I like a, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
I like a, you guys know I'm a big fan of ledge heads. I like a ledge head in a 1/2 ounce. That's my kind of go-to size. And a 6/0 hook most of the time.
6/0 hook.
So
you don't fish any like 3.8s or 4-inch baits?
Oh,
like
yeah.
The Kitex?
Yeah, I fish those on Alabama rigs.
Okay. Oh, no, okay, on Alabama rigs.
Yeah, I fish those, but I'll fish those a lot of times when the bass are up spawning. And actually, I'm my buddy. It's not on his website yet, but he is making me a 1/2 ounce 4.5 ounce 3/0. Ledgehead makes the little micro heads too for the smaller baits, and so I've been wanting a 1/2 ounce size. He had only went up to like a 3/8 ounce. But you know, for the smallmouth, the smaller smallmouth, I want a 1/2 ounce size so that I can fish deeper with the smaller baits deeper. So
That's
and
neat.
he's gonna make one and put it on the market. So
good to have connections.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. He is truly an awesome dude. I can't thank him enough. If you guys seen those 2 expo videos, I have met so many people, and it has opened up so many doors for me being able to work those 2 expos, because it's great to go into an expo and walk around. But guys, if you can volunteer to go work a booth with some of your people, I don't care how far you have to drive, go do it. because it lends, I'm nobody, but it lends a little bit of credibility to you when you're standing there helping sell those baits, because those other retailers see that you can give a sales pitch, that you can bring people in, that you can sell those baits. And you know, it's pretty easy for me because ledgehead's something that I mean, I love it. When I first got my hands on it, I actually tell the story, and I tell people all the time. When I first seen it, I thought, man, that is an ugly head. And then I got to using it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm all of a sudden catching bigger bass than on the head that I was using before. And then so me and a buddy of mine come out, and we had a school. We kind of went at each other, and every time which guy would have the ledge head would catch more bass. And I was like, okay, all right, there's something to this now. So
speaking of expos, I'll be at the Toronto Fishing and Boat Show on February 17th. I'll be there around 3 to 4 until closing. So if you guys want to come hang out, I will be filming if you guys want to come and be on the vlog and all that stuff. I'm not sure where I'll meet up yet, if any of you guys actually show up, but if you guys follow me on Instagram, then I will be able to inform you where I am and all that stuff. So, and let me know if you're coming. DM me on Instagram so I have an idea of how many people will show up. So yeah, it's on the Friday, by the way. So I noticed that Tall Fisherman Jay is on here, or was on here. Hello.
yeah, he's on here.
He was up. I'm still like way behind on the comments.
Hey, Tall Fisherman Jay, I see that. That's pretty cool. Hey, Tackle Junkie 81's on here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tackle Junkie. I also am a tackle junkie. We probably should start a Tackle Junkies Anonymous meetings.
If you guys haven't watched his tackle tour videos, your mind will be blown.
The sad part is I haven't even made it to the soft plastics yet.
It's gonna take you a couple of videos now.
I know. That's what I kept telling everybody. Everybody was like, "Come on, do this." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it."
I mean,
like,
you can see the boxes behind him.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't know. Yeah, that is literally just soft plastics.
What's your PB? Smallmouth and largemouth. PB Fishing Company asks.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So my PB smallmouth I caught 2 years back, in August, I think it was. I did not have a scale back then, so I can't tell you the weight, but I know that it was 23 inches long. It was by no means a thick or fat smallmouth, so I'm not expecting it to be like super. And I was doing like calculations. I was Googling like girth and length calculations for smallmouth. Some websites say it was between 5 and 6 pounds. Others say it was like between 4 and 6. I would say low 5, high 4. And good. As of, yeah, it's not bad. I got him on a popper, so it's pretty fun to reel him in. But as for largemouth, I actually broke my PB largemouth last season on opening day here in Ontario. It was 5.75 pounds. Not a bad fish. It's a pretty good fish up here for Ontario, for largemouth at least. But I'm super proud of it. It was an absolute tank. If it was a little fatter, if it was pre-spawn, I can't fish the pre-spawn. If it was pre-spawn, it could have been easily 6, a little bit over 6. But yeah.
Well, you've got me beat on the smallmouth.
Really?
Yeah, my smallmouth. I actually caught my PB in the BFL in South Holston, surprisingly, on a swim bait.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly. And so I caught it. It was the only fish I had of the day, but it was 4 pounds. So I'm happy about that. My personal best largemouth I caught, he was 6'3", not 6'3" tall, unfortunately.
That's a good fish.
Yeah, he was good, and I actually caught him on a jig. Those are my 2 favorite baits in the world. If you ever get in a boat with me, no matter what we're catching them on, there's going to be a swim bait and a jig rod laying out there ready to go. It's just, I have to.
Yeah. That's with me. That's me with a drop shot.
Yeah.
Always got a drop shot ready to go. So, just going through the comment section, I missed a lot of questions. What's your favorite brand of electronics? I have found Garmin to be the most more user-friendly than Lowrance, Mike asks. So I'll go first because this is going to be pretty short. I'm not huge into electronics. I have used Hummingbirds. My first fish finder electronic was a Hummingbird. Now I just upgraded to another Hummingbird for the new boat. I don't know much about any other brands, so I'll let BassGeek take this.
Well, you know more about Garmin than I do. I've yet to get my hands on a Garmin. I've got a buddy who just bought new Garmin, so I'm going to hopefully get to play with those sometime this year. You know, to me, the two major brands are, you know, Lowrance and Humminbird. I've had both, and it's really a toss-up. If you're really geeky like me, then go with Humminbird, I think, because Humminbird, you're constantly tweaking it based on where you are in the lake, you know, to really get that best picture. Now, you do the same thing with Lowrance, but with Lowrance, you can almost set it and kind of forget it sometimes, but it's just getting it to that point to begin with. Once you get it there, you know, you can fish it pretty much without ever having to change it. Which one do I like best? Oh, that's tough. Because the truth is, anybody that's really used both will tell you the side imaging on Helix is better. The down imaging and sonar on Lowrance is better. But I'm super interested in seeing these new Megas, these Gen 2 Helixes that just come out. They are gorgeous. So, and they come out with Chirp, which is the equivalent to Lowrance's, you know, 2D sonar. So I don't know. I don't know what that's going to do to the playing field.
Yeah, I have a Helix, the previous model, though. I got it on sale because the new ones came out. But yeah. I'm looking to get one with, this one doesn't have GPS. I'm looking to get one with GPS too, eventually. Now, I mean, I feel like with one I'll do for now, but eventually I'm going to want to get another one. And the Garmin,
did you get one with SI on it at least?
No, it's just a standard model. I mean,
down eye? Does it have DI on?
No, just a standard model.
Right.
Yeah. So, if anything, I'll put this one up in the front of the boat and then get another one for the console. But as of right now, I only really fish one lake, so I don't really need any GPS or anything like that. But down imaging would be nice, but that'll be in the future. What is your favorite topwater bait? For smallmouth, popper, for me, for sure. I feel like I've had the most luck on a popper. My PB smallmouth came off a popper. And for largemouth, it really just depends. Again, probably popper or spook. I'm not really big into frog fishing just because with the limited amount of mats that we have and lily pads we have, it's really, really shallow, and there isn't really a lot of times I can find fish that shallow. But that's definitely something I'm going to be working on this year. Jig fishing, Texas rig fishing, and frog fishing.
If you need some advice on the jigs, yell at me.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
But you know what? I'll go the same way. You know, you can catch bass on a popper when you're 2 foot tall, and you can catch big bass on a popper when you're, you know, 6 foot tall like me. So, you know, it's I love a spook in some open water areas that we've got around here, you know, a stick bait, but I just don't think there's anything more fun than skipping a popper up underneath a tree or around some brush and just working it out and watching a big bass come up and just knock the far out of it.
Z-Bait Co. is on here, or was on here on the live stream. They're coming out with a brand new fishing scent. If you guys are interested, they'll be available tomorrow, I believe. So I'm just going to plug that a little bit.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I noticed they're on here. So Top Fisherman J asks, what kind of boat do you have? I don't have a bass boat or anything. I have a modified 2002-2003 Legend something. I can't tell you. I totally forgot. I bought it this fall. It's a 15.5 foot boat, I believe, with 40 horsepower Evinrude on the back. So it's gonna get me around my little lake pretty nicely.
It's a good looking boat. It's a good looking boat.
It's a huge upgrade from what I had before.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I've got a Triton. I've got a TR20, a 98 TR20, and you know, don't go back and look at how beat up she is. She's old. She's starting to show her wrinkles, but she needs some carpet. She needs some seats. I call her Ruby because she's red. She's ruby red. But it's got a 200 Johnson on it. I can get it fully loaded, and when I say fully loaded, I mean everything I've got back here I put in my boat.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, man.
I take it all, every ounce. It drives me crazy.
Oh man.
But fully loaded, I can get it to about 68. So
wow,
she'll roll to be as old as she is.
No, that's a boat. Where's BassGeek located?
I am. How many of you guys have seen the Geico commercial where they're talking about Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Virginia? The little geckos standing on the middle of the road. I'm really close to that place, actually. So I'm right on the Virginia-Tennessee border, within just a few minutes of it, actually. So I fish some small lakes in Virginia, which is what I grew up fishing. They're the super clear water lakes, other than a couple on the Tennessee side. And then the big lakes, I fish the big lakes over in Tennessee.
Have you ever been to Lake Champlain? We got Cameron here who's inviting us to go with him. His PB Smallie is 6.2 pounds.
I'll tell you what, whenever you're ready, we'll go up there and we'll go fish. Or you can come down there, I guess. We'll meet in the middle.
That's one of my bucket list lakes for sure.
It's one of mine too.
Yeah. Heard it's amazing. I watched a couple of, I think it was FLW tournaments or something like that on that lake. Oh man. I want to get down there during spawn because I never spawn fished before, right?
Yeah.
But that would be really fun.
You would actually love to come down here, especially fish these lakes that I fish, because again, they're like 20 foot clear. So with a good pair of sunglasses, a lot of times I'll do, and so what I'll do, because the banks are so steep, how it generally works is they'll come right up and they'll spawn in a area that's got a 30-foot drop, but there'll be a lip about 2 foot wide, you know, where when the water comes up, it just undercuts. So there's a little, little ledge right there. Yeah. So you just put the trolling motor on high and just drive down and watch as you spook the fish, and then you mark them and come back and make long casts to them.
And this is all 20 feet. And 20 feet.
Well, this would be shallow. They'd be shallow. But the water's so clear, you just put your trolling motor on high and you just go down the bank as close as you can get. And you can watch as they dart and come off the bed, and you're scaring them, you're spooking them. And then what you do is you wait until they come back up on the bed, give them about 30 minutes, an hour, and then you come back and fish for all those bass that you found.
See, that'd be an experience. That'd be awesome.
It's pretty fun.
We got a question here. What is your thoughts on getting a scale versus a ruler?
Why don't you take that first?
Let me take that first. Measuring fish and weighing fish is just for bragging purposes, really. Unless you want to know how much they weigh. But if you catch a big fish, you're always curious to know how much they weigh and how long they are and all that stuff. But I think it's pretty necessary to have both in your boat or with you, just because you never know when you catch a record or anything like that.
Well, and you're right. Tournament fishing, they've got to meet the length limit. So of course I've got a ruler in there that I can tell what they are. A scale, I'll actually tell you all this now. I'm actually, I met Ben Arnold from Connect Scale the other day, and he lives right up the road from me. I didn't know this. And so me and him are talking. I think I'm going to do something with him. And being a computer geek, that's pretty awesome because, that thing actually connects to your phone and you can keep logs. And I'm really, really bad because I like technology, and technology makes me super lazy. about not typing stuff in or
Yeah.
I'll go, well, I'm fishing, I'll type this in later. And I never do. So logs have never worked for me. I just kind of try and remember it as best I can. But this scale, I'm really excited about trying this scale out.
That's the one scale that I want to try as well.
Yeah. He hooked me up with one at the expo down there. So I'm pretty excited. And he actually talked to me because of my background in computer networking, technology. He's making some changes, so he actually kind of said, well, we might get you to kind of help out with some things. So
that's a neat gig for sure.
That would be an honor. So
what is your favorite brand of Senkos? So I'm not a huge stickbait fisherman. I try to steer away from them, but I really like the Bass Pro Stickos. They're really well priced, and they hold up really well and stuff. I also like I don't fish Yamamoto's just because I don't fish Senkos a lot, so I don't really want to buy. Up here, they're super expensive. They're like if anyone's in Canada, let me know how much they cost. I think they're like $7 though, and I'm not paying that much if I can get Stickos for $4 or $5.
Don't feel bad. They're about the same down here where I live
really?
at. Yeah, they're I would say probably $5 something a pack.
See, at Bass Pro, they're like $8-9.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bass Pro's higher on everything. I mean, they are. I'm a Yamamoto guy. I just like the rate of fall, and it's, I guess that's what I started using. But I will agree with you. The Bass Pro shops, they are the closest to a Gary Yamamoto. So if you're going to go with a lookalike brand, Lady Bass is right. Go with the Bass Pro shops.
Yeah.
I'll also tell you, if you're going to go with a lookalike to the Kitex, go with the Bass Pro Shop Speed Shad. They're super nice and look just like them.
Yeah, I've used the Speed Shads. I've also used the EcoPro Tungsten. What are they called? The EcoPro Tungsten equivalents, and I really like those as well. And I know that.
Those.
Yeah, I know that Angler's Choice has a ribbed swim bait as well, and I know that they're redoing the design of it and coming out with new ones this year. So I'm super excited for those. Where in Ontario do I live? I live near Toronto, and I fish up north in the North Kawartha area. Let's go through these. I'm so way behind in this chat.
I'm just letting it roll. I'm just like, okay, I'll see something.
Ever consider going to ICAST? I've considered it. I'm not paying to fly out to Florida just because I'm a student. I have a student budget, and it's just not in my budget. How about you?
Yeah, I would love to go, but I would love to just go fish Florida. I don't even care about ICAST. Yeah. There's enough YouTubers that cover that expo as it is. So
yeah, there's a lot of videos that come out in that week span that are just all ICAST. That's the one thing I feel for them, though, is trying to make their video different than everyone else's video, try to get the views. But it's kind of hard to do that when you're at ICAST. But have you ever kayaked fish? We have a question here about your favorite kayak.
No, I'm just going to be honest with you. I want to kayak. I want to kayak because there's some really great rivers around me. But my wife won't let me have one. I don't. She just tells. She keeps going. You'll fall out and drown. So
I'm gonna fall out.
I know I might fall out. I'm not gonna lie, but I won't drown. I do know how to fish or swim, and I would have a life jacket on to be safe. I think she just don't want me spending any more money. Give me another reason to spend more money.
My family, we own 3 kayaks now, I think, but they're recreational kayaks, we just use them to have fun, but they all have the rod holders in the back, so you can have rods with you. I did a couple, I think 2 or 3 videos of fishing for my kayak. I'm more of a boat fisherman. I like having all of my tackle with me instead of just a rod and the net and all that stuff. But I do like kayak fishing in the evening when it calms down, and I'll just go topwater fishing with a popper for a bit. But
that's that is the hardest adjustment, because I've had my own boat for 20 years, and to jump in the back during the BFLs and only be able to take a little bag with all this. And I'm used to having a boat that is a tackle box. I'm like, how do you do this? It's driving me crazy. I need this and that. I can't. I'm learning a lot, but I can't wait to fish out of my own boat.
Yeah, sorry guys, I just got through the comments about Winnipeg. I blocked him. Sorry it took so long. I'm just getting down in that area, but yeah. Let's see what other questions we got here. It's all stuff about that kid now.
I didn't even see what. I'm not gonna ask.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Tell me later.
I don't want to know what the guy was saying, but yes, it's the sniper shad that English Choice makes. I believe they're redoing the whole design of it, and there's going to be new sniper shad 2.0s coming out. Super excited for those for sure. Yeah, $9 for a pack of Yamamotos and Cabela's in Ottawa. And that's a little extreme.
Yeah, yes it is.
Another thing I want to cover really quickly. As you guys know, Simple Fishing, I work with Simple Fishing. We have the Random Lure of the Month box. For all you guys in the US, Simple Fishing is coming out with some pretty cool things to the US. So you guys in the US will also be able to order. And nothing's set in stone yet, but you guys will hear pretty soon about some new deals coming to you guys.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I think I'm caught up. No, I'm not. If you guys have any questions about super, super ultra clear water, you guys can ask those questions now. BassGeek will answer them for sure. He fishes water clarity of like 20 feet.
Yeah.
So
15 to 20 feet most of the time.
See, I fish clarity between like 5, 6 feet on a bad day to like 15 feet. I don't know. I don't know why it varies so much sometimes, but it's still pretty clear. Like I can see down 15 feet on like a calm day, but 20 feet I could not imagine.
It's
fish get spooked a lot easier, don't they?
They do, and that's, I tell people all the time, that's A, that's why I learned how to fish deep, and B, that's why I picked up the swim baits, especially the soft plastic swim baits, because they're so natural. And you know, the spiel that I did all weekend about the ledge head was, you know, the great thing, if you look at those ledge heads, you know, the head comes down underneath the swim bait, so it gives the bait a nice rolling action when the tail gets going. And that also breaks up that image a little bit. So, you know, it's all about, you know, not looking, you know, like a bait. And so, and I think that's what, you know, if I fished like Tackle Junkie, he said his water is 5 or 6 inches clear. You know, if I was Tackle Junkie, I would be a huge square bill guy, spinnerbait guy. And I, believe it or not, I am a huge spinnerbait guy because I fish a lot of laydowns. So, you know, I've learned how to fish those deep. But what most people, they'll pick up a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait. I'm going to throw an ounce or an ounce and a quarter spinnerbait.
I have yet to fish a spinnerbait that heavy.
So,
how do you feel about underspins in that clear water?
I know if it's got a blade on it most of the time, unless I'm around cover, like, you know, you fish around a lot of grass, an underspin will work great. But if you're in clear open water, no, it's just too much flash. As a matter of fact, I will take a Sharpie and the owner beast belly weighted hooks. I will take a black or a brown Sharpie and color them black, you know, black or brown, just because they're polished and they're shiny, and I get less bites on them that way.
That's wow. Okay. See, that's the one thing I think I wouldn't like about clear water is try to keep everything super, super natural. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even an A-rig, if you guys seen the tackle tour I do and where I was talking about an A-rig, I say in that I like an A-rig that has a black wire or it's the least amount of chrome that you can get, you know, some sort of nickel or very, and the reason why, it's the same reason why you hear people talk about taking their braid when it starts to turn white and taking a black Sharpie to it. You know, it's less visible in the water.
I have a question about the camera I use. Fishing Columbus asks how I feel about the Sony A55. That's the camera that I use. As of right now, it's been going pretty well. The one thing is I have to pick up some more batteries because this thing dies super quick. But so far, so good. I don't have anything bad to say about it. So what cameras do you use?
I use my iPhone.
There you go.
And I use 2 SJ cams, and I'm gonna actually probably upgrade one of those later this year. I don't know, but
yeah, the iPhone, an iPhone or like any smartphone is a great way to start if you have the memory for it. Because I have a 16 gigabyte phone, and
oh yeah,
all of that is practically photos, so I have no way I can film anything on it. But
I've got the big iPhone Plus, but work pays for my phone, so I'm just like, yeah, give me the big, give me the big one.
Do you fish spinbaits? That's one thing I really want to get into this year. I do not have a deep diving crankbait rod, so I'm not able to fish crankbaits over like 10, 12 feet. I feel like spybaiting will be a good way to get deep to the schooling fish without actually having a crankbait rod to get there. That's the one thing. That's another thing I really want to get into this year. I've seen people fishing like Lake Simcoe, for example, and lakes up here using spybaits and catching absolute toads on it.
Yeah, I've got some spybaits, but I've got like 3. And I keep forgetting that I have 3. And I'm like, okay, man, that would have been awesome if I'd have remembered that I had that in my box. But yeah, this year, especially during these tournaments, the first 2 tournaments that I fished this year, both are on super clear lakes. So they play right into my hands. And it's actually something during practice that I'm going to try out, because both of those lakes will be targeting smallmouth. So
there you go. Yeah, I have a couple in my box. I just reorganized my jerkbait box. I had too many jerkbaits in my crankbait box. So I got a new box for my jerkbaits, my spybaits, and some lipless. But I have 2 of them. I have yet to use them, though, just because I wasn't sure how to use them. Now I feel like I'm enlightened a little bit, so I'm going to try them out for sure. But
Tackle Junkie said he's got to go. Hey, Tackle Junkie, thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you for stopping by. Love seeing you guys on here. Jake's GoPro asks, if you have super clear water, would you start with a dark color or light color? Well, it depends what you think a dark color or light color is. I'll let BassGeek take this one, but
I'm gonna probably look at a translucent color, and it's gonna really depend on the sun. On a bright sunny day, I'm going to go with a toned down color. And I know this is really odd, but I don't want it glowing in the water. So I'm going to go with the most natural, toned down, almost like a flat color. And I don't have them with me. I picked them up upstairs, but a company that I'm hoping that I'm going to do some work with, Norse Bait Company, which is close by. I actually bought, and it's like a bone, but it's a flat bone with a flat gray back. So there's no polish, no shine to it. And I'm excited about it. If it's a lower sky or a dimmer day, cloud cover, whatever, early in the day, then you can go with a brighter color, or even a super dark, like a black and blue or a black stick bait or whatever you might be throwing.
I've had a ton of luck on a black and blue stick bait in my water. I feel like it imitates leeches a little bit more. I know most of the lakes up here will have them. And you have to also look at the forage. I know that crayfish and craws, they molt and they change color as the water temperature changes. So I found that in the beginning of the season for me, which is June, I see dead crayfish coming up on shore that are orange and red. And then throughout the summer, and in August they start turning into a black with some green, like green colors, black with some blue, black with some purple. And I feel like this year I have adapted more to the change of the colors with my, like, the worms I'm using, the craws I'm using, a small amount of jigs that I used, and the drop shot baits that I used. I started using them more to match the hatch, I guess you could say. And so you still have to look at that, especially for clear water. I feel like it's a really big deal to match what the smallmouth are eating.
Do you use any swim jigs?
Swim jigs. Yes, I do. They're in my box right there, but I'm a big fan of the belly weighted hooks.
Yeah.
I like the VMC ones. I forget what they're called.
I remember. See, that's actually, I love the VMCs, but they only go up to 3/8 ounce.
Yeah.
And
so
really if I'm fishing like 25, 35 feet deep, I really need a half to a 3/4 ounce. I will tell you this. I'm going to give you a tip. I know you say you're going to start fishing jigs, but I want you to have one of these because you're going to be fishing deep grass edges, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how deep generally are those deep grass edges?
The majority of the area that I fish on this lake that I fish, the grass edges usually go up to about 12, 13 feet to the bottom. And then the grass usually comes up a couple of feet. So
get you a half ounce. You can work it a little faster.
Yeah.
You may go 3/8 ounce, but those two weights, just a good swim jig. Get you a 4.8 if it's a half inch. You can go with the 3.8 if it's the 3/8. But the 4.8, like a Kitech, and put on there. Just kind of match the color a little bit. I'm going to tell you right now, up there where you're at, just line up and fish that edge and pop it through and just swim it. Just a nice slow. Put it in the water, that 4.8, and just kind of drag it by, and you'll see it'll get a roll to it.
Okay.
That's the speed you want to fish it. So just kind of work it by you and see what speed it gets that nice little roll. I promise you, you'll thank me for this later.
Yeah, I got a bunch of perfect jigs in a couple of months back, and I got a couple swim jigs. It's not that I don't have the jigs to jig fish. It's just that I haven't picked up a jig and actually I've jig fish in the past, like flipping docks and flipping grass. Like I've caught fish on a jig. I just never really got dialed in and got confident with jig fishing. That's the one thing. It's the one major thing I want to work on with spy baiting. And
listen, 4.8 half ounce. Start there. A little bit of a brighter color. Match the hatch. Match whatever shad or whatever that the fish are feeding on in your lake. But I'm telling you, you will thank me for this later. You will catch a giant, I promise.
I'll send you the photos.
All right.
Do you like birding spinnerbaits? How do you fish spinnerbaits? New England Bass asks. So I'm not a huge spinnerbait fisherman. I rather fish like a chatterbait or a swimbait. But I do have a bunch of half-ounce spinnerbaits, which I use to slow roll. I'm a huge slow rolling spinnerbait person. I'm not really into burning them or throwing them into cover or anything like that. I'm sure it works, but for me, I feel like I get the most fish slow rolling it at the bottom of the lake.
For me, when I'm going to pick up a spinnerbait, generally is going to be the fall, and I will actually burn it at first because the banks are so steep in a lot of the lakes that I fish. I'll throw an ounce up into like a foot of water and burn it, and then once it drops, I'll let it flutter, and just to where I can just see the flash of the blade, I'll start kind of slow rolling it. Generally, I'm going to fish that around some sort of lay down or something like that. You gotta have something that's going to break up. I'm not going to fish that generally in clear water, in clear open water.
Yeah, I'm more of an open water spinnerbait person. I'd rather throw like a chatterbait or swimbait, Texas rig swimbait. But
around that grass, I can see why you'd want to throw a chatterbait. I'm telling you.
Even with the chatterbaits, it's so hard to keep it weedless. Throwing it, like, in the grass that I have. My personal best came off a chatterbait, and previously to like a couple casts before I caught it, I was so pissed because the amount of grass that was coming up with this chatterbait was unreal. It may have been due to the design of the chatterbait. I was using a Z-Man, but I recently ordered a bunch of custom-made chatterbaits. Hopefully they'll get here soon. I ordered them from the US from a company I found on Facebook, but we'll see. I just really want to find a good chatterbait that doesn't rise a lot and that stays relatively weedless, just because of the amount of weeds.
I will tell you, Picasso makes a heavier, and I don't want to knock them because I was super excited. I found a chatterbait that was 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces that Picasso makes.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, oh my Lord, this will be something that these deep schools of fish that I fish for have never seen. But I got it out there and I started throwing it, and I think I was throwing it on a rod that was too soft.
Oh, okay.
And I think that kind of affected it. But wow, it just wanted to twist constantly. So I'm going to give it another try next year, a little heavier rod, and we'll see what happens. But I know Picasso makes some heavy ones, and I know Tackle Junkie, since he was on here, he actually really loves their lighter ones. So
I recently picked up some Freedom Swimbaits. Have you heard of them? They have the head and they have the. Let me get them right now. They're right here. I want to show you them.
Cool. Yeah, I'm all about seeing some swim baits.
So they have a free swinging hook on them, and I'm pretty sure that they make a chatterbait as well.
I think the first BFL, someone won the first BFL that I fished last year on a head like that. They were talking about a swim bait that had a free swinging head on it.
And you can exchange the hooks on here too. They come with a hook, but I believe that they came out with a chatterbait or a swim jig of some sort with this kind of design. How do you think that will compare to like a chatterbait or regular swim jig?
That head?
Yeah.
I was actually going to tell you, I mean, I would fish that in the same situations I'd fish a swim bait. And I was actually going to ask you, for you fishing a swim bait, again, on those deeper weed lines, that's going to be another tool that you should look at. And I like the design of that head because it is pointed. So it's going to come through weeds real well. Now, I have to tell you, you really need to try a ledge head. I'm going to.
I know you're going to plug it.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to pump them. I'm just saying if you look at that ledge head too, it's very pointed at. Anyway, just go look at them. I got his website, by the way, ledgehead.com. I will do a little pumpage right there, but ledgehead.com. Because I put the website together for him.
Really?
Being a computer geek, I mean,
that's true.
But that, and when you first start fishing, is your grass submergent? Is it still not quite to the top?
It's all submerged. There's one area where it comes up to the top, but most of it is all submerged.
A good bright swim bait, or a swim bait, a bigger swim bait, and a swim bait. You can buy the Chatterbaits blades. I
have been looking for those everywhere. I cannot find any.
You'll have to order them online.
Yeah.
You'll have to order them online. Buy the Chatterbait blades and put it on a swim bait head and run that swim bait across the top of that grass.
You also need a swim bait though with a horizontal hook tie, I think, because it comes on a swivel, right?
Yeah. It's got to be at least, a little higher up.
Yeah.
So.
Question for me, but you can answer it as well. Will you be doing any collaborations with anyone sometime soon when open water season comes? I plan on it. I have a couple of ideas with some people in the air, nothing's set in stone though. But I really do want to start collaborating some more. The issue is majority of the YouTubers and people that fish and have Instagram accounts and all that stuff are in the US. So for me, it's going to be a nice at least 4 or 5 hour drive to get to the northern states. But I hopefully will collab with some people. How about you?
You're way up in Canada then, aren't you? You're in
I'm
God's
actually in the
country.
southern area of Canada.
Well, Canada's huge, so
That's true.
you know. Yeah.
There's areas of the U.S. which are north of me, so it just
Yeah.
really depends where the person lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I've been talking with Bass Bullies, who just so happens to be on here because we live not very far away. I'd really like to do something with him, and I'd like to do something with Eric, and I keep wanting to say his name, his YouTube name channel backwards. I can't even talk right now, but it's Bassin TN or TN Bassin.
Okay.
Correct me, Bass Bullies. I know I'm butchering that, so correct me on that. So at least those two guys, I hope I get to do some things with. I've actually also, and this is why I tell you guys, if you can volunteer to go work because I didn't get paid by Ledgehead, I get nothing from them. He throws me some free baits, and then the bad part about it is now that I know how to make them, he literally tells me you have to go. If I'm not making them for you, show up. If whatever you want, just make it. So I literally have to show up, make my own baits now. But if you can volunteer and do a show with a company, go do it. Go work their booth. Go sell. Because one of the great things is I met so many pros that I've got two that one I know I will do a show with. So I'm actually going to do a show with at least an FLW Tour Pro.
That's awesome.
And I may be doing a show with an Elite Tour Pro later in the year. Now that's all up in the air, but I'm pretty sure the FLW Pro is going to be fun.
For sure. Speaking of fishermen, I guess we have a couple questions here about who your favorite YouTube fisherman is.
Well, it's Lady Bass, of course.
So no comment on that.
Me? You are actually one of my favorite. Yeah, I knew Bass Bullies was going to be like that. And yes, Bass Bullies, it is Derek Blake. That's the one. That's a definite. Favorite YouTubers. That is tough. Me, my wife, and my daughter. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on a live stream with you. I've got a lot of respect for you. I think I think you're actually a better angler than you realize you are. You've got skill, and
Thank you.
I think you are a good representation to the people like my daughter and like my granddaughter, who I'm going to turn her into the next Bassmaster champion. I swear it. But I love Bass Bullies. I'm a big fan of people that are going to teach me stuff. People that really have a passion of fishing. I love a pretty video as much as anybody, and I try my best to emulate some of the guys. But if you're not telling me what you're doing, if you're not teaching me something, I'm all about the knowledge. I'm a geek, man. Feed my brain.
That's exactly how I feel. I'd rather watch an unboxing video to see what people are using, or a tips and tricks video instead of a fishing video. That's the one thing I feel like will help me become a better angler. I'm not gonna learn as much as I will. I'm not gonna learn as much from a fishing video like what John B makes. Don't get me wrong, John B's videos are amazing. He's probably my favorite YouTube fisherman out there. Exactly. But it's pure entertainment.
Yeah.
And if I want to learn something, I'm gonna go to Tackle Junkie. I'm gonna go to Fluke Master. I'm gonna go to BassGeek. I want to go to people that will, teach me something. I'm huge into knowledge. I love knowing everything there is about something.
Yep.
And one of those things is fishing. So.
And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, she is my favorite female YouTube angler. I can say that hands down.
There isn't many to choose.
I listen, and I mean that as an absolute compliment. Not only female, but it's me and Bass Bullies. Me and him had this same conversation. I told him I can tell he has a passion for the sport, and I'm BassGeek and I have all this stuff because I'm addicted to it. I mean, it's just, it makes me
It's hard
crazy.
not to be.
It is. Uh, and that's what I really like, is just the fact that I look for those anglers that have that same passion, and you can see it. You can see it. You know, there's some guys out there that, you know.
Yeah, I've seen those people too.
Yeah. I've had guys go, well, I don't know. And I've had one of the things that drives me crazy, and I don't know if you all seen this, but it was a huge endorsement. And I'll let all of you all in on a little secret. In my last video, you can kind of watch my face in the expo video. The Tennessee, the vice president of the Tennessee Bass Federation is a fan of mine.
Really?
And he come up, and he's an older gentleman. His name's Jerry Jones. And he comes up and he goes, hey, blah, blah, blah. Oh man, I watch your videos all the time. And I'm like, thanks. He's like, you're awesome. I was like, you know, I'm not awesome. I'm just doing this for fun. And I said, you want to be on my YouTube channel? He's like, absolutely. And I didn't expect it, you know, because again, most of the older guys, you know, they don't want to be on YouTube. You know, the younger kids, they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it. So I come around, and as I'm standing there, I say, hey, I'm with one of my subscribers. And I let him introduce himself. And he goes, hey, I'm Jerry Jones, vice president of the Tennessee Bass Federation. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, I recovered well, but, you know, I was like, did I just hear that? I didn't recover. Afterwards, he just walked off. He shook my hand. He said, you do a great job. And I was like, thank you, sir. And he just walks off. And I was like, if I knew that's who you were, I would have actually done an interview with you.
That's awesome.
So, but anyway, the tournaments, guys, that's why I do tournaments. You meet great people. You meet great anglers.
Yeah.
Anglers that you're not going to meet on YouTube. You know, Lady Bass is a great angler. But there's a lot of
pro.
Exactly. And that's how I met Derek Blake. I fished out of his boat last year in a BFL. I fished a tournament with him, just drew him, pure luck. And now me and the guy have become decent friends. So, and he's good. I mean, he's real good. So
yeah, I was gonna join a bass club this year, but I just don't have the time for it.
You focus on school.
Yeah, with my last year in school, I don't know where I'm going next year too, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I definitely want to get into tournament fishing, but just right now is not the time. But definitely in the future.
Now you can do the one-off tournaments. Like I'm sure there's a lake near you where they do. We call them rodeos, or
we have those for sure.
So you know that's
that. That's a good idea. I just want the knowledge, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We got a question here from Mitch. What bait casting reels do you use? I have a couple brands that I use. My all-time favorite as of right now is the Daiwa Tatula CT. It's the newer version of the Daiwa Tatula. I have a couple Daiwa Tatulas. I have a CT, and I have a Fluger, and that's it as of right now, actually. So, what about you?
Oh, Lord, I've got one of about everything. I mean, no, I'm kidding. I don't know. I've got everything from Abu Garcia auras, the winches, I'll tell you what, the Bass Pro Shops, Pro Qualifier is a great reel. You can get it on sale, generally coming up pretty soon for under $100. Lures. I know you don't like lures, but I swear I've got I've got 2 lures. I bought my first 2 last year, and they're incredible to me. And then my buddy Tim, that is the owner of Ledge Heads, and like 2 or 3 other people have just like, man, you've got to try these Tatulas. You got to try these Tatulas. So you know, so I've got 5 on order, and so we'll see how that goes.
Speaking of reels, what's your opinion about this Quantum? Can you see my screen?
I can.
You can? Okay. What do you feel about this Quantum? It just came out. I was scrolling through Taco Warehouse today. I noticed this guy is in the new featured list. Quantum Vapor PT casting reel for $150. How do you feel about Quantum? What do you think about this guy?
All
Have you
right.
read anything about it?
I've not. This is the first time I've seen this, but I will tell you my experience. I've got almost every bass in deep water you see me catch this year or this past year was on a Quantum PT that I bought in like 2000 and like maybe one. So
Really?
it's old. It weighs like 5 pounds. I mean, it's solid metal. It's huge. And the funny thing about it is I've got it paired with like this cheap Walmart that I bought about the same time, Berkeley cherry wood. But I swear it's an awesome combo.
Yeah.
But I have several of their newer reels. I've got an XO. I've got 2 more PTs. I like the PTs a little better than I like the XOs. But I bought a KVD that actually now it does nothing but acts as my lure retriever.
Really?
And the biggest reason why, the biggest problem that I seem to continually find about the Quantums is they're not tight. Your line constantly seems to find every crevice that it can as you're casting to break you off. And
Really?
I don't know what their tolerances are, but they really need to tighten their tolerances up because their reels, you know, just the gaps in the spool between the spool and the frame seem to be too big. Yeah, I've not had a good experience with the Quantum stuff here lately.
I've heard a lot of bad things about the Quantum. I have a spinning combo that was one of my first spinning combos that I bought like as a combo maybe 3-4 years ago, and it's still holding up well. My mom uses it now, but I feel like their older things are a lot better than some of their newer reels.
Like I said, that reel that I have, I actually bought 3 and I gave 1 away, and a guy's still using it because it was like a super slow 4-to-1 back when.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everybody was back in the day. You know, everyone was like, now listen, 4-to-1 on these deep diving crankbaits. You know, now everybody, you know, speeds have just gone up.
I bet people still use 4-to-1s on deep diving crankbaits.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. 5.2-to-1s, I like them, and I'll go up to like a 5.8. Okay. I will tell you, did you guys see? So everybody needs to be ready. If you haven't seen, he was either FLW or Bassmaster is now allowing up to 10-foot rods.
I heard about that.
And I think it was Bass Bullies or it was East Tennessee or Bass and TN, I'm sorry, that actually did the same expo that I did. And one of the rod manufacturers already has a deep diving crankbait rod that's 10 foot long. And I want one bad.
That's something to look into. I bet you can get those crankbaits down really deep.
Yes. So you guys might as well be ready. You know, Matt Allen, the guys at Tactical Bassin, they'll be selling them on Tackle Warehouse before it's over with. So
Mitch got a Shimano Castellas today. Congrats on that. I was actually going to buy that reel, but I went with the Daiwa instead. Is there high school fishing in Canada? Not that I've heard of. I haven't heard of any college or university fishing teams either. Bass fishing is not at the same caliber here as it is in the States, which is something I'm trying to work on to get more people into bass fishing, but it's nothing like it is in the States. People up here are like big walleye and pike fishermen. So get your last questions in. We're gonna log off really soon. It's been an hour already. So any last minute questions, let us know, and we will answer those. But telescopic rods, how do you feel about those? Like a 10-foot. Having a 10-foot one piece may be hard to get around with now.
Yeah, and the one that I seen was a 10-foot telescopic, and I don't know that you can not do a telescopic in a 10-foot. I mean, are they going to start doing 30-foot boats so your rod lockers are now 10-foot long?
Yeah, how are you supposed to? Maybe like a 2-piece or something like that, right?
Yeah, I would rather have a telescopic. Actually, I don't mind a telescopic because, again, back in the day, I've still got 2 flipping sticks that are actually telescopic, and I love them. So yeah, back in the day, 7.6 was a long rod. So you know.
Yeah, I'm looking into buying a telescopic. I'm going to Cuba in March, and I'm going to be fishing there. I'm going to be inshore fishing with a guide, but if I want to do some surf fishing or some beach fishing or something like that, I have to get my own gear. So I can't bring like a 4-piece or anything like that because it has to fit in my suitcase. So I may have to go telescopic for that.
Okay. Hey, would you mind if I gave out a product code, which by the way you
Go
can
ahead.
use too,
No,
for 30% off the Opticast? Have you seen that Pro buoy system that I was giving away? And
yes, I watched the videos.
this is something for you that you would, I think you would use a lot, especially during the summer when you start fishing those deep weed lines.
Yeah.
But guys, I'm going to type this in. Can you see that? I don't know if you can or not, but anyway,
barely.
I will actually type this in, guys. This is 30% off. This is a discount code for Opticast that all of you guys can use. It is only for the Pro buoy system. So use it, Isabella, use it. Get out there and get you one of these. You don't have to get your buoys out and put them up and get them out and put them up. It's on a ram mount. You set it there and it's done.
Good to know. While he's doing that, I'll answer a couple questions really quickly. So what is your favorite spinning reel braid? I use 20-pound Power Pro in the color Timber to 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'll be buying some 8-pound this year too, so I can go a little lighter. And there is still no name for my boat. I haven't thought of a name yet, and I've been going through the comments, trying to get inspiration, trying to get the comments as for a name, but I haven't picked one yet. Advantages or disadvantages of glass versus graphite. You would only really use glass in today's technology and all that stuff for deep diving crankbaits. Even with deep diving crankbait rods and all that stuff, you can still get a glass graphite carbon fiber composite kind of thing. I have not used any glass rods ever, so BassGeek can't answer that. But when I'm going to be buying my deep diving crankbait rod, I'm going to be going composite, so a mixture of glass and other types of material.
Well, I've never used composite, so I'm really interested in what you're going to think about that. I've used glass and I've used graphite. I prefer graphite. For me, glass is just too much flex.
That's the thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, I can't feel anything. I guess now if you're fishing grass and you're popping it through that grass, you really get that pull. It'd be a little different, but bass bullies can attest that it's all rock here, so you want to feel that it hitting that rock and every little stick that's down there.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we're done here then.
That's
So it's been an hour. So we're trying to keep this under an hour. We went a little bit over, but thank you guys for watching. If you guys are interested in the Opticast buoy system, there's a code up there in the chat for you guys for 30% off. It was, I believe.
It is 30% off.
30% off. If you guys are interested in any of apparel or hoodies or anything like that, check the description. I have all my promo codes for all the companies I work with there. You guys can save some money. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out BassGeek. The link to his channel is also in the description. If you guys like the video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you do. Thank you for watching. The next video I post will be on Saturday, and then after that will be Wednesdays and Saturdays, hopefully. Next live stream I'll probably do in a week or 2 weeks-ish, depending on my schedule, of course. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out BassGeek, and I'll see you guys in the next video.